Is it live? Oh, finally! Jesus Christ! Do you guys know how long we've been messing with this? Gosh. Hi. Whew. We had some technical difficulties this afternoon. I mean, Jesus. If it ain't one thing, it's another. And if it ain't one thing, it's two things. So we gonna be all right. Where y'all at? I'm gonna wait for people to come in. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to the Mercury Lounge. Welcome, welcome. I'm your host, Lady Renee, and this is my show. Hi. Jeez. It's a little stressful this morning because we had some technical difficulties, but that's how it goes. Things happen. You got to keep pushing. Let me see who's on. I'm going to have to go on my phone so I can see who's logging in so I can talk to y'all and communicate. Because this is the Mercury Lounge. This is what we do. The planet of communication, right? All right. Come on, y'all. Who's that? Let's see who's coming in. Uh-oh. What's up, Ronnie? How you doing? Yeah, when I go on my phone, my music cuts off and I can't have that. So I'm gonna have to rely on Rock, and thank God for Rock. Thank you. Because he helps me every Sunday. He comes in and helps me produce the show, so I appreciate that. Who are we without our team of people around us? Because it's never just you, right? Nobody can. It's a one-man show, but it really ain't. So let me get my music back on. And welcome. Let's do this. You're watching the Mercury Lounge. I'm your host, Lady Renee. I like saying that. All right, let me just gather myself for a second because I was a little stressed out. As soon as we got ready to log on about 20 minutes ago, my camera didn't work. We couldn't find my browser. It was just a mess. And that's what happens when you let your kids get on your laptop. And coincidentally, my theme today is motherhood. So let's get on this. Let's get on this. I just thank you for allowing me to share my story. And, not just the story. Is the music too loud, Rock? I appreciate y'all allowing me to share my story. And not just the blah, 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 vowels and consonants, but the vibrational story, the vibrational signature of your being, the story of yourself based on the experiences that you have in your life and how it creates a vibration in your body. And it could be just your story. It is your story, but it's also the story of your mother, her mother, her mother, her mother, and it just gets passed down. And so we all have a story to tell. Who are you? Who am I? Am I a mom? Am I a sister, a wife, an entrepreneur, an artist, a producer? Okay, that's cool. But who am I really? Like, what am I? My experiences is who I is, right? And so I woke up this morning and I know that I looked at the calendar. I'm like, wow, we're already in May. And we've spent, I love me some Kendrick Lamar. And so I woke up, I saw it's the month of May. Mother's Day is coming up. And I know Mother's Day is a hard time for some, a wonderful time for others. And, and then there might be some variations in between. So I just want to share with you my experience of being a mother and how that journey started for me. I'm a mom of four. I have three daughters and one son, and I think that has been one of my greatest accomplishments is bringing these entities into the world and having them contribute in some way. And when I look at all of my children, I'm so proud of who they've become. And that's, I have to pat myself on the back because being a mother ain't an easy thing. She's doing her best. And it took me a while to come to that because I used to be mad at my mom. That bitch got on my nerves. Excuse my language. But when I got to know who she was, her story, I was able to see her as a person and not just my mother. And so, gather round, children, gather round. It's story time. It's going to be some shit today. My journey as a mother started in 1986. And at that time, my high school sweetheart name was Armin. Y'all may know him as Kaba Conte at Red Bay Coffee. And yes, I have two babies, daddies. So for some of y'all out there that want to bash the women, it's not your business. And when a child is ready to come into the world, doesn't matter what the circumstances are, that baby is coming. And all children are a blessing. So let's just start there. It's the woman who does the choosing, right? Or maybe it's God who chooses the individuals to bring the baby in. But when that baby is ready to come, nothing's going to stop it. When an entity is ready to take a physical form coming from the ether, the gods, whatever you want to call it, nothing can stop it. It might not come that first time for whatever reason. You got rid of it. You got rid of itself. It's coming back. And it's going to keep coming until it comes through. And so I learned that. So it was 1986. I found out I was pregnant with my first daughter, Jessica. And I think I was 18 when I got pregnant, but I was 19 when I had her. And I didn't know what to do. And I didn't even know, I think part of me wanted to end the situation. And then the other part of me, my higher part, knew that it was part of my life journey. It's part of my story, my vibrational story, my vibrational signature. And it's important for me to tell this story because it's important for me to express. And so thank you for having me here. Went to the doctors, found out I was 12 weeks pregnant, and I just sat on the doctor table and was just like, woo. You ever see those movies where a camera like zooms in and the person is standing there and the camera just zooming out? I had like an out of body experience, and I just thought, like, how am I going to raise this child? And I'm still a child myself. And the people around me at that time who I knew loved me, wanted the best for me, and Kaba, Armin at that time. And, so I was just listening to a lot of things, and on one level really questioned myself about, was I capable of raising a baby? Did I have the means? Did I have the resources? Hadn't even really started my education yet. And so, yeah, I was just a baby. I was 19. We were both babies. What's up, Tracy? And so we had, and not too many people knew, it was my mother, Kaba's mother, and maybe a counselor that Kaba and I were seeing at the time who are helping us through this situation. And so the conversation of adoption came up because I was already too far along. I hadn't really acknowledged my pregnancy to the point where I could really have an abortion. And I didn't even really know if an abortion was something that I really wanted, like really deep down in my soul, because I really could have did it, but I avoided it for a long time. What's up, Nikki Thomas? Welcome. Thank you for joining me. And we got to get you on the show. And so we went and saw a counselor. We talked about adoption, and that just became something that was more and more of an option for us. It was adoption. And so the counselor that we saw was helping us through this process of adoption. And so during the course of our meetings with her, she had found a couple who had been trying to have a child for years. And their nationality was the same as Kaba and I at the time. The mother was half Latina and African American, and the father was Black. And I'm not sure about all that, but anyway, we ain't gonna get into all the details. But anyway, so if it was a fit, and so and it was also our counselor's family member, and so we were like, okay, this is a close situation, we'll go with that. Excuse me, y'all. Need to wet my whistle a little bit. And so we decided to go with her, and we arranged a meeting with the mother. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. And so we arranged a meeting with the mother, met the mother. I told her, I had a baby, I was pregnant. She was asking about my health, how I've been eating, did I drink, smoke, just kind of feeling me out. And I told her no, I was pretty healthy at that time. And so we just continued the conversation, told her when the baby was going to be born. And so we went along with it. Mind you, okay, this is how shame works. When you are ashamed about what your truth is, no matter what it is, it has an effect on you. And because I was ashamed that I was pregnant at 19 and that I could have done more with my life based on many factors that told me about myself, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't even tell my mother, right? She actually, I didn't even tell her, and this is how moms are. She knew. She said, I ain't seen no period. I ain't seen no pads. And what's up? And luckily, and this, when we talk about family, you know, vibrations, she had me when she was 19. So she already knew, right? And so I was just like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And she was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, I think I'm going to consider adoption, because she knew that I was too far along. And she wasn't really with it. Honestly, she was like, why are you going to do that? And so I moved out. We were just going at it, me and my mom. And at the time, my sisters had been born, my twins, Leslie and Martha, my younger sisters, and my brother. They were, I think, 5. My brother was about 10, I think. And so I moved in with Kaba. We tried to do as best we could as young parents to be. And so continued meeting with the family. And one day I went over to my grandmother's house, rest in peace, Martha Hills, my grandmother, the matriarch of the family. I used to go with her to night school a lot and help her with her homework, because my grandmother didn't get her education until her late 40s. Whole nother story. Anyway, I used to help her a lot and spend a lot of time with my grandmother. And so one day she was like, I need to go to the dentist. And my grandmother was still learning how to read. So I would help her with her paperwork. I would help her read it. I didn't even know my grandmother didn't know how to read. That's what an incredible woman she was. But somehow she raised 8 kids. Anyway, that's where I come from. So when you talk about who I am, yes, indeed. And so I went with her to the dentist, and I was helping her fill out her paperwork. And the dentist, she said, okay, doctor, we'll just say Brown. Dr. Brown is ready for you. And so he came out, and I looked up, and my grandmother's dentist was the father who was going to adopt my baby. Let me just let you sit with that. He was the husband of the adopted parents to be. My grandma didn't know I was pregnant. We met eyes. He looked at me, I looked at him, and I was frozen in my seat. And my grandmother looked, she said, "Child, what is wrong? Are you okay?" I like broke out in a sweat. He turned around, ran out the room. I was like, oh my God. What are the chances that my grandmother's dentist is going to be the person who's going to adopt my baby? How's that going to work? And so I just, I was just flabbergasted. Couldn't say anything. Didn't speak all the way home. My grandma was like, "What is wrong with you?" And so we got back to the house. We were sitting on the bed, and she just asked me point blank. I don't know where it came from. She said, "Are you pregnant?" And I wanted to tell her the truth so bad, but something in me just wouldn't happen. And this, when we talk about speaking your truth, why it's so important. You have a story. Everybody has a story. Speak it, tell it. That's your story, your vibrational story. So this platform is giving me that. Thank you. And but I didn't tell her. I just was like, no, and I hid my pregnancy. I held my stomach in, and let me tell you, when I can tell you the mind can make the body do things, I made my body not show. That's when I first knew and first discovered how powerful the mind is, because I was so determined not to let people see me pregnant that my body didn't show. I was 8 months kicking it, and people were like, I didn't even know you were pregnant. I just had the baby. So fast forward, here we are, almost 8 months into it. We're still meeting with the parents. We had multiple meetings, and they kept trying to get me to sign something to say that I would, give the baby up. But I told them, like, I'd never been in this situation before, and I ain't signing shit because it was just like, I don't know what I'm going to feel like. And so, but in my mind, in my mind, I was like, yes, I want to go through this. But in my heart was a whole nother story. And that's why I follow my heart to this day, because it's never let me off my path. And so it was March 21st, 1986. Went into labor with my daughter, Jessica. We get to the hospital. I'm in labor for 3 hours, pushed her out. Parents were in the hallway. She had the baby blanket. She had the bassinet. She was just so happy. He was happy, but I wasn't happy because I knew that I was going to have to hand my baby off. And I wasn't sure if I was ready to do that. And so I basically just, after I pushed her out, we had a 3-hour labor. My mom was there. Kaba's mom was there. And my twin sisters, my baby sisters were there at the bottom of the bed watching Jessica come out. Who, but just, it was like right there. And so she came out, and I said, I want to see her. And then doctor said, I don't think it's a good idea. You shouldn't see her. Well, if you see her, it's going to change you. And I said, I want to see her. And they kept trying to convince me. Then I got more aggressive with myself. I was like, I need to see her. Give me my baby. So they handed her to me. I held her, and I looked at her, and she looked at me. Her eyes were barely open, but she opened them, and she just let out a little like meh. And I was like, that's it. I'm keeping my baby. And they were like, what? And I was like, I can't do it. And the doctor was like, what are you talking about? Social worker came in. The doctor came in, and I think my mom had stepped out of the room to go call my other aunties and told them that I just had a baby, because nobody knew. And so the doctor came in, the social worker came in. They said, how are you going to raise this baby? You don't have the means. You're not financially prepared. Do you even have a diaper bag? Do you have this? And I said, I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to figure it out. I'm not giving her up. I can't do it. And so they were just like all crowding around me. And so I grabbed her, and I jumped out of the bed, IV everything, ran down the hall, and I closed the door with Jessica in my hand, and I locked myself in a room. And the doctors, the social workers, the mom was out there crying. It was just like crazy. And I said, I can't do it. I'm not giving her away. This is my baby. I'll figure it out. And he was just like, well, how are you? You know, they were just talking. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Where's my mom? And so I waited. My mom came, and the doctors, they had some words. My mom said, I'm going to help her. Don't worry about it. We're going to do this. And so, and I know Kaba at the time, he was like, you know, just not really knowing what to say or do. And I took her home that night, wrapped her up, and I took my dresser drawer out. I padded it with some blankets and put her in my dresser drawer, and she slept next to me. And 32 years later, she's a beautiful, successful, compassionate human being. And I actually wanted to share it with you guys. I just tried to download this software, and I'm still working out the kinks where I could implement photos and videos into my stream, but I didn't get around to it today. But I did want to show you this picture of her when this was like 3 hours old, right after I had her. I mean, she was wide awake. And here's a picture of Kaba and I when she got a little older. You see that? That's my baby, Jessica. And so I say all that to say that that's part of my story. That's part of my vibrational story. That's who I am. That's so when people ask me, like, who are you? You know, of course we say, oh, I'm a mother, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a sister, and I'm a survivor. I'm a creator. I am a person who is intuitive about what's best for me. Um, I am, innovator, uh, a person of courage, faith. That's who I am, based on my experiences, not titles, but experiences that create a vibration in you. That's who you are. And so I encourage you all to tell your story and to share that story, because there's freedom in that. And there's nothing like freedom and liberation. There's something about it that's sweet, because you have, when you get into that freedom, it also comes with the bondage that you knew you had. So it's a bittersweet experience, but there's nothing more liberating than to be free in yourself. And so when I was able to tell that, it gave me so much freedom. And it also gave me a level of confidence that I can rely on myself and my intuition about what was best for me. And it never failed me. And so right now in this crazy time, I still can rely on that. And so as a mother, I went on to have another beautiful daughter, Mariana, who's 18 now. Nia, I had another daughter. Girl, I kept it going. And then I had a son who is now 13. So I have 3 children and 1 son. And motherhood, it's not for everybody, because some of us have children and we never make that connection, and that's okay too, because like I said, when an entity is ready to come in, and whatever life force chooses to come in at that time, it matters not the circumstances when that baby comes, who the parents are, who the mama is, who the dad is. Nothing's going to stop that life force from coming through. And you just do your best as a mom. Every mom out here is doing her best. And so I encourage you to get to know your mother's story. Get to know her story. And for some of you whose mothers are not here, I don't know what that's like. One day I will. But don't feel bad, because Without her, there would be no you, whatever that looks like for you. And you can celebrate the spirit of motherhood on many levels, not just, uh, the things that we are taught about what mothers are supposed to do, but the spirit of mothering. And for some of my male transgender people out there, it's the spirit of mothering that's there for all of us. It's not just a male female type of thing, it's a spirit. Most women tap into that more easily for whatever reason than men do, but it's not exclusive to anyone. Um, and Yeah, so just, in this, like what I said, when I woke up this morning, I thought about moms. I thought about um, mothering, what that means, what it looks like, and what it is for me specifically. Being a mom is half my life. I've been a mother half my life, and not just with my own children, but as an older sibling of, I have two brothers and three sisters. Um, I was able to tap into that, and that's a part of me, but that's not all of who I am. And um, as a mom, you struggle and fight for your identity. And so I'm just speaking on the side of being a mom. I'll touch on the other side of having a mom who you don't get along with, and how to navigate through that too. And if also for some people whose moms have departed, that's hard too, because Mother's Day is really sad time for some, and like I said, a joyous time for others. Um, but it has taught me so much, because it's such a selfless act to be a mother. You know, I didn't even know what I wanted for dinner because I was so ready about to serving my kids that you kind of can forget who you are. And being a mom has taught me that's not all who I am. And so once I looked at my story, it encouraged me to understand my mother's story. And once I found out her story, I was able to look at her as an individual with her own life path, and not just my mother and what I thought she should do for me as my mother. And I was just grateful that she brought me into this life. And I looked at the things that she gave me, meaning not the material things like the clothes that I wore, the bed that I slept in, or the food that I ate, but the things that she gave me in my spirit, meaning my tenacity, my go-getter attitude, my compassion for others. And that is really what has served me in my life. And that's my story. And thank you for listening. Um, so let's see. Look through the comments for a second because I just want to look. Carla shook. Grandma knew. Yep, Grandma did know. I'm catching up on the comments. Hi, Tracy. Thank you for listening. Yes. Yeah, it was a really crazy time. Um, so so yeah, being a mother or even mothering people, because sometimes you get biologically bringing life into the world, which is a wonderful feeling, but also you may not, but still have the spirit of mothering, and you might be the type of person that takes care of everyone. So that is what I'm talking about, the spirit of your essence. Spirit is everything. It's everything. It's more spirit to you than your physical self, because the spirit can never be broken. It only evolves and expands. Look at what the time that we're in and how our spirits are bringing us through, and how we're reconnecting with our spirits by doing things with our families and getting out there and really doing stuff that really matters. And so as I've gone through my life experiences and I've learned about spirit, I really, really learned about spirit when my Aunt Lynn passed away, when she transitioned. And I went to her funeral, and sorry. I went to her funeral and I saw her body. And when I looked at her body, I didn't see her, right? She was gone. And I was like, wow, how much of her spirit filled up her body to the point when her spirit left, she was unrecognizable. The coroner came in. I don't care. You could put all the blush on her, do her hair. They was arguing about what suit and clothes she was going to wear. And I was like, she gone. But her spirit is still here. And that's when I knew, God, we're spirit. And so after I walked out of the funeral home, I had seen enough. I just started, I felt her. Like, I just can't explain the feeling that I felt. But when I walked out of the funeral home, I could feel her in me. I felt her presence. I felt her conversations that we've had. Like, it just felt inside. And I was able to walk away and smile and be like, damn, the spirit lives on. It's real. So don't tell me about this motherfucking coronavirus. Okay? Ain't got shit on me. Just like Denzel Washington said in Training Day, King Kong ain't got shit on me. The coronavirus ain't got shit on me because I'm spirit. And I've been through so much more. So I'm going to follow my guidance about what works best for me because it has served me throughout my life. It's real. But just because you can't see it and touch it don't mean it ain't real. But you feel it. Feel that shit. Feel it. We're spirit too. And so that situation taught me so much about the spirit of things, you know, the spirit of joy, the spirit of happiness, the spirit of creation. The spirit is really what's driving this whole thing. So don't let anyone break your spirit. Liberate it. Bring it out. Let it be. Share your story, not your blah, blah, blah is what I call it, but your vibrational story. That when you go through your life, it creates some kind of vibration in you and it keeps resonating and you feeling it throughout your life. That's you. That's who you are. That's who you are. Don't you know that's who you are? You're watching the Mercury Lounge. Thank you for listening. Every morning when I wake up, I know what I want to talk about. And that's the other thing. I'm relying just on faith. You know, like I have my notes the night before and I'll be stressing myself out. But then when I wake up in the morning, God just gives me such a new, every morning I'm born again when I just wake up and like, ooh, a new fresh start. And so we're talking about motherhood. We're talking about spirit, vibration, and just being, you know, working in the spirit of mothering. And when entities come into the world and, you know, we bring them through, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. When a baby's ready to come, it's going to come. And you celebrate that life because everyone's life is important and we all have something unique to share. And so thank you for allowing me to share that. I appreciate my friends and family who've been motivating me to do this podcast. You know, I just been having something on my heart and I couldn't really find the right platform to let me rephrase that. I have many platforms where I would express what I'm saying through video, through writing, but it's something about the spoken word. Like when words come out of your mouth and you say something and it's true, it's liberating. Like when you speak the truth, and I can't even tell you what that is, but you just know it inside of you. It's something that feels so good about it. And it might not be something that everybody wants to hear. It may not resonate, but it's the truth. The truth shall set you free. That's what that means. It'll set you free. It'll liberate you. Do you promise to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. I do. And so when I had my daughter, that was like when she came out of me and I could finally stop telling that lie, it just liberated me. And I figured it out. Something inside me knew that I was going to be a wonderful mother. And so now years later, hang on one second. Years later, I have 4 children, and I've learned so much about being a mother. And not only that, I've learned so much about myself. So, um, Mother's Day is coming up. How are we celebrating the spirit of mothering? Not just motherhood or doing the things we think moms should do, because moms are people too. Moms' lives matter. Um, but just the spirit of mothering and what that means. And, you know, you got to fight for it sometimes too, because, you know, I got 3 teenage daughters, okay? 3 girls, okay? 3 other vaginas walking around in the house. And well, 2, because my oldest daughter, Jessica, is now living on her own, who I'm so proud of. She's opening up her own bottle shop. She just signed her lease and got her liquor license on Grand Avenue, Alkali Rye, with her business partner, Corey. And it's not just that, you know, it's like the manifestation is not so much the material stuff, but her spirit and how she was able to make all this stuff happen. And that came from me, somebody who was 18 years old, didn't know what the fuck she was doing, raised the child, and she's a beautiful person. That to me is success. And then the fact that she has her own business is just cherry icing on the cake for me. And then my other 2 daughters who are home now and all up in my stuff, taking my gel, borrowing my clothes. Ooh, 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 wee. Girl, girl, girl. We got 1 bathroom. We have 2 bathrooms in our house, but for some reason they like to be all in my shit. Every morning I go to the beauty supply store. I buy them all their own eco styling, their own blow dryers, but some reason they keep coming and taking my stuff. And if I used to get heated, like, ooh, you don't even want to see me. One day I got so mad. One day I got so mad because I hate looking for shit. And if you're a mom and you have daughters, it's going to be this road of looking. My name might as well be Where's Mine? Because every morning when I wake up, where's my gel? Where's my scarf? I bought me a silk bonnet. Now you got my silk bonnet on. I'm looking for my silk bonnet and you got it on your head in your bed. Your shit is all silky and my shit nappy. I bought you gel. I bought you everything. One day I went and got myself some nail polish, cotton balls, and I went to go look for it and I couldn't find it. And each place I looked, ooh, I was getting madder and madder. Like I was just, where's my fucking nail polish remover? I went in the bathroom and I took the whole shelf down, boom, pulled it down. Everything on the shelf fell. They was like, everybody in the house. Remember when when Oprah Winfrey came in, Color Purple to be what's the name ass and the piano thing. That's how it was. Nail polish dropped, splattered all over the toilet, looked like a crime scene. And it felt so good. It felt so good. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just the frustrations of motherhood. Because you'd be like, can I just have something to myself, please? And so the back wreck, I think my husband Tommy, he hadn't left. He came in and he was just like, everybody got quiet. I just went off. And I think for me, because as moms we're so selfless, like you know, you cook for them, you clean, you make sure, you go hard, and then you just want one little thing for you and you can't have that. Lead depriving me of my nail polish after all this shit I did. And it's just like, ooh. And so it felt good to pull the shelf down. but it didn't feel good to have to clean up nail polish off the floor after it dried. So I got a nice bathroom with nail polish on the edge of my toilet seat. But then that night I went to bed and I started feeling bad. And this is also a thing about mom, guilt. Mom and guilt seem to be synonymous. Why? So I don't know what happened, but I was sleeping and I heard my grandmother's voice clear as day. They admire you and see you as their role model, and they want to be you. And when they wear your clothes and they get in your stuff, they're seeing how you do they're looking up to you. When my daughter takes my slippers and wears my shoes, not just about her taking my shoes, about her feeling me. And so I was like, fuck that. No, stay out my shit. Shoot. Moms go through a lot just to get you here. So as we celebrate this month, not just one day, you mom 365. And I don't know about dads because I'm not a dad. I'm just a mom, so that's all I know. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. So anyway, I just want to share that with you guys. Welcome to the Mercury Lounge. This is my podcast, sharing with you my truths, and I appreciate that. And for some reason, I can't. Let me see if I can read through some more of the comments. I just want to go through some more of the comments. So that's just, a little ditty I want to share with y'all. Thank you for that. It's really important to tell your story or to express what is inside of you that made you are. Mom, it ain't easy. It sure ain't. Carla, hi. And so yeah, that's my story. Yeah, part of my story, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say today. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about? Uh, anything else? And I will see you next week, Sundays at 1 o'clock here on Facebook Live. And follow me at the Mercury Lounge, please, on Instagram, The Mercury Lounge. And I just launched my YouTube channel, The Mercury Lounge Podcast. I'll be adding more content there as we go along. I've been, and YouTube is such a wonderful resource for things, as I've learned so much on how to expand the production value on this show. And I'll be adding more transitions and photos and videos, and maybe I'll even have like a show opening. I was really trying to make that happen today, but it just didn't happen. Just wasn't in the car. It just wasn't ready. But thank you. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you next week on the Mercury Lounge. Meditate, hydrate, and elevate. I'll see you next time. Thank you. I appreciate it.